Reading from the day is a section called Greatness by The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. He writes, imagine going to live on a mountaintop by yourself forever. You build a home that no one will ever visit. Still, you invest the time and effort to shape the space in which you'll spend your days. The wood, the plates, the pillows, all magnificent, curated to your taste. This is the essence of great art. We make it for no other purpose than creating our version of the beautiful, bringing all of ourself to every project, whatever its parameters and constraints. Consider it an offering, a devotional act. We do the best as we see the best with our own taste, no one else's. We create our art so we may inhabit it ourselves. Measurement of greatness is subjective, like art itself. There is no hard metric. We are performing for an audience of one. If you think, I don't like it, but someone else will, you are not making art for yourself. You found yourself in the business of commerce, which is fine. It just may not be art. There's no bright line between the two. The more formulaic your creation is, the more it hugs the shore of what's been popular, the less like art it's likely to be. And in fact, creativity in that spirit often fails even at its own goals. There is no more valid metric to predict what someone else might enjoy than us liking it ourselves. Fear of criticism, attachment to a commercial result, competing with past work, time and resource constraints, the aspiration of wanting to change the world, and any story beyond, I want to make the best thing I can make, whatever it is, are all undermining forces in the quest for greatness. Instead of focusing on what making this will bring you, focus on what you contribute to this art to make it the best it could possibly be with no limitation. If you're creating something with a solely functional purpose, such as a car designed to reach a certain speed, other intentions may matter. If your project is purely artistic, then redirect your inner voice to focus on pure creative intent. With the objective of simply doing great work, a ripple effect occurs. A bar is set for everything you do, which may not only lift your work to new heights, but raise the vibration of your entire life. It may even inspire others to do their best work. Greatness begets greatness. It's infectious. Yeah, I love this book so much. And it's really been an inspiration in streaming, in my coding, which I guess are my two big things right now. I love the way he starts. It's like, imagine there's no one around. You're in a home in the middle of nowhere, but you would still, right? You would still invest the time and effort to make it into a place you'd want to live. And even with no one else there to enjoy it, you make it the best you can be to your taste. And it's kind of what I did with the Subway app. There already were Subway apps existing. There just wasn't one to my taste. And so we created one to our taste. And we create art so that we may inhabit it ourselves. This is certainly true of useful things like an app, right? I wanted an app to use, and so I'm using it for sure. That's part of it. But I guess kind of as he's been saying in the previous chapters, um, it's how we learn who we are. We learn who we are by making stuff and observing it. It's now something that's outside of us for us to look at, and we can feel something about ourselves, proud or ashamed or wanting to make it even better next time. Um, or maybe that's it. Maybe that's kind of a dead end. We made something and now we're going to go in a different direction. But I really like the word inhabit because it rhymes with the idea of this house in the middle of nowhere that you're building for yourself, but also the idea of inhabit of like becoming yourself. Uh, I guess people say be yourself. I would say become yourself, or how he says it here, inhabit yourself, make yourself the best you can be. Uh, I don't like saying it as a command, but I'm not sure how else to phrase it. Yeah, I think the idea that like no one has to like what you like is very freeing, and in fact might be the only way to predict that someone else likes it. Like if I don't like something I make, how am I supposed to expect anyone else to like it? If I like what I made, then at least one person likes it, right? Me. One person benefits from it. I think back to the songs I put on SoundCloud back like over 10 years ago. I still go back and listen to them. I don't think anyone else does. They have like, I don't know, less than 100 listens. I think it's all me going back to listen to them. He tries to make a distinction here about you found yourself in the business of commerce, which is fine. Um, this is a tough one for me. At least for me, I really don't like making things that I think someone else might like. That's against my current philosophy, I guess. I guess for so long I've focused on making stuff for other people that, given the opportunity to, in my free time, make something that I like, uh, yeah, I'm gonna take that. That also makes it sustainable. Like if I don't like what I'm making, I am going to lose interest at some point. Is is what happens for me anyway. Everyone's different and all that. Then sort of as he gets towards the end here, he's talking about things that might get in the way. Fear of criticism. That's something that's definitely held me back. I hear a voice in my head uh, telling me how bad it is. And I guess that's the other kind of thing about making stuff for yourself to inhabit in is because you because I've discovered I can make stuff that I like, my fear of criticism has decreased, in fact. I mean, I think that's kind of always going to be there to some extent, but I'm not afraid of somebody not liking what I put out the way that I used to be. Yeah, this is the commercial result again, which we talked about just recently. I like how he says competing with past work because each new thing we do gets to be a new thing with new rules, with new goals. And it doesn't have to be better than a previous thing. It can also just be good, like making each thing as great as we possibly can. I guess that's my goal. Because of course, I do have the aspiration of wanting to change the world. I do want to change the world. But I guess this is a task that's kind of unmanageable. It at least needs to be broken down into steps if you're actually going to change the world. And so my way of doing that right now is making the best Subway app that I can make. And this is perhaps another way of saying the abundance mindset. Instead of focusing on what I'll get out of making the app, focus on making it the best I possibly can be. Uh, I often say full queue is feels like a limitation. I have so many ideas, but it's also like a blessing, right? That means I can share as many ideas as I want, and I'll still have more. I guess he's saying like with this functional purpose, I don't really quite see it as different. Like I think it's just part of the constraints. I'm not sure if he's splitting hairs or if I'm splitting hairs here. I mean, I guess like this last part here just like reminds me of Michael Jordan, who like played his heart out all the time. One of the greatest for sure, where a bar is set for everything that he did in basketball and lifted the whole sport of basketball to more global awareness. Uh, and yeah, I mean, it's very inspiring to just do the best. Like, how can how can you watch Michael Jordan and not want to make your own app better? Like it truly is infectious. Um, yeah, I would watch Project Runway at the beginning of working on this app. We were watching Project Runway a lot, and yeah, I was watching people make dresses and stuff, and then I would want to just I wanted to work on my app. I was inspired by that show so much to just make stuff. I love making stuff.